Shout out to one of my subscribers, Sun Goddess, for sending me this story. And I actually heard about this. I believe the Advice Show spoke about this a couple of days ago, and I wish I was able to talk about it as well, especially since it happened in the state that I live in, not the city, but within the same state. And it's a state I'm definitely familiar with, which is Glen Burnie, Maryland. So here you have in this picture a 22-year-old by the name of Tyrique Hudson, and he was a software engineer. Remember, I kept talking about that STEM major: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So that's not bad for someone as young as he is to have been in a field like that and to have a job in that as a career field. And it sounds like he was probably fresh out of college too, 22. So he probably was just graduated, or maybe, somewhere around that arena. But anyway, he had he requested a protective order against one of his neighbors who happened to be white. And the neighbor was 53, or is 53. And one day it got so intense that the neighbor got into it with Tyrique, and one thing led to another. And then the neighbor pulled out a gun and shot Tyrique to death in his front yard. And then they said witnesses came outside, and when they looked, they saw that the neighbor was standing over Tyrique's body. I said, whenever someone kills somebody and they stand over their body like that, that just gives me serial killer vibes. Like, you know how when you watch the Halloween movies when Michael Myers kills his victims and he just kind of looks at them and he tilts his head and he walks away? When someone does that to somebody and they stand over their body after they did their dirty deed, that just screams serial killer to me, like it always has. But it's so messed up because all of this could have been avoided if the courts did not deny him a protective order against this neighbor who was clearly harassing him for a while. He was most likely upset because here you have this young black man who was a software engineer, which means he was making very good money. And that white neighbor probably couldn't compete, and he was upset that this young black man was doing way better than him and living in the same neighborhood as him. See, black people, one thing we have to understand is that when we really make something of ourselves, outsiders or some within our own are always going to hate on you. This neighbor has been hating on this man since day one. He probably had his eyes on him since he moved into the neighborhood. Excuse me. And was wondering, how in the world does this, end up in this neighborhood? How come he drives the car that he drives? Why does he live in this type of house? He was probably jealous of him. And usually that's what it always goes back to, is jealousy. I mean, this man was ready for the world. And I was not listening, but I was looking at a quote that his mother had put out there. She said that he was getting ready for the world. Like, who knows what his life would have been like? He took away a bright future. He took away one of our brightest minds. It's messed up when, sorry about that, but yeah, he took away one of our brightest minds. Whenever I get frustrated when we lose one of our own to senseless stuff like this. But I get even more mad when we lose one of our own who could literally be effective to the community. Who knows what this guy could have become or what he could have done that could have benefited us. We'll never know now because this pig took him out for God knows what. But I can definitely say that I have a feeling that it was definitely racially motivated. I mean, this man was 53 and he killed someone that was less than twice his age. And for what? Because you're mad that he is more successful than you. He might have a better career than you. Maybe he has something that you want and you can't get. Like, the possibilities are endless. But as far as we know, that motherfucker, his name is James Varenbeck. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name at this point. It doesn't really matter what it is. It says even back on February 16th that Tyrique was confronted by this neighbor while he was simply taking out trash. And then he said that he told the victim he knew this day was coming, and he was making one of those throat cutting death gestures. So he has, like I said, he has been plotting to kill him for a while. And when he went to go get that protective order, the courts denied him of it. So the courts should be held responsible for this as well, because they didn't do anything to protect him from this guy who was clearly not in the right headspace. He was just mad because he was a black guy that was successful and living in a neighborhood he probably felt blacks did not belong to. He was probably mad because he had like I said, a very good career. And that white guy might have squandered everything that he had. They said Hudson's family is now preparing for his funeral, which was held today, the 27th. That's crazy. Let me see if there's anything else right here. They said he faces first-degree murder charges, which is to be expected because he's been plotting this pretty much. And they said he suffers from schizophrenia. That's the one that they're gonna that's what they're gonna run with. They're gonna run with the whole he has a mental illness card. I don't want to hear that crap. Throw the whole damn library at him and throw him in jail for life. If they find him guilty, he's going to jail for life with no parole. I'm almost certain of it. And I don't know if Maryland has the death penalty or not. But if they don't, give him life behind bars and put him in Gen Pop, preferably in the blackest prison you can find. But my condolences go out to the Hudson family. R.I.P. to Tyrique Hudson, a brilliant mind that unfortunately the rest of the world will most likely never know. Thanks to individuals like this James Venom, I should call him Venom back because that's exactly what's filled through his veins, is a bunch of venomous nature. But y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Oh, it's two last things I wanted to add in there, and I feel like I needed to throw those in there because it's very pinnacle to this incident. One thing is when he went to go get the court order to have, I guess may have been a restraining order against him. They denied him because they said it was a lack of evidence to prove that this neighbor was making death-threatening gestures towards him. But now I guess they see that the threat was indeed real. And the next part I wanted to mention was that Tyrique did say that he planned to move, but by that time it was already too late. So, like I said, the courts definitely have to be held responsible. The judge, let me see if I can find that judge's name in this. District Court Judge Devi Patterson Russell. I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but whoever the hell they are, they need to be held responsible as well, because by them not doing what they were supposed to do, that ultimately led to this man's death.